to be going. Right. Yes. There you go. Maybe. Nobody takes things away from me. What? Yeah. I got teeny. She was with me when I fell before. Now she's gonna hold me up. Okay, hi everyone. If we can all take our positions. Thank you to everyone today for joining us for this historic sentencing. But above all, thank you so much to Cade's family for allowing us to honor Cade today. And with that, I'm going to introduce District Attorney Morgan Geyer.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. As we just witnessed, Mr. Shuey was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison for the murder of Cade Webb. And as the judge mentioned, there is no true justice. There is accountability, which is much deserved and much needed. True justice will come when we don't have a day where we have to stand here and we don't have to share these stories. True justice would be having Cade here, and Zach here, and Spencer, and Jules, and Haley, and all of the other names and faces that you see affected by this fentanyl crisis. One other thing the judge did say was that it was a silent epidemic, and of all the things he said that I agreed with today, I disagree with him on that one point. One thing we have not done in this county has been silent on this epidemic. From our outreach to our investigations and our prosecutions, we have been and we will continue to be loud. We will continue to inform our community. We will continue to hold those who sell poison in this county accountable to the highest extent that we can. This happens with a team effort, and I want to acknowledge some of those team members today that helped obtain this measure of justice today for Cade and his family. And that starts with our investigators, our sheriff's office, to our members of the Special Investigations Unit, of which all of our Placer law enforcement agencies are a member, and particularly to the Roseville Police Department as well and their crime suppression unit that assisted with the investigation and ultimate arrest of Carson Shuey. And I'd like to thank our team, led in this case by Senior Deputy DA Devin Portillo, who secured this jury verdict today, his supervisor Dan Wesp, in our Special Prosecutions Unit, our Bureau of Investigations, and our team, who have really dedicated themselves to this crisis and this effort. And most importantly, I want to thank the families that are here today, in particular, the Webb family, Kurt, Liz, Gigi, Grace. I am continually humbled, inspired with the degree to which you bring Cade to life, To the degree to which you bring humanity to this process, you demonstrate the resiliency of the human spirit. You demonstrate grace, patience, and all things that are good. And you brought Cade alive today in that courtroom with dignity and with honor. And for that, we thank you. To the other families who have lost children in this fentanyl crisis, we honor you and thank you today because it is your stories that save lives. These deaths are not in vain. Each one of these stories affects people. And as you saw in that jury, in the jury box today, there were students listening to that sentencing today, listening to what these stories are. And they will carry those stories to their schools, to their loved ones. And these stories that you have most graciously shared with us in our community are saving lives. And they will continue to do that. So for that, I thank you very much. And it is my pleasure to introduce Elizabeth Dillender, Cade's mom. Where are you, Liz? Please come forward.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, this has been 3 years in the making. My name's Elizabeth. I am Cade Webb's mom. My son didn't want to die. Cade made one fatal mistake. He trusted a so-called friend. Cade was poisoned by a fake pill of fentanyl on December 3rd, 2021. My son was not a drug addict. He was a loving, happy, adventurous teenager who, like almost a million other young adults, because these numbers are drastically unreported, became a national statistic instantly in the years of 2020 through 2024. Over the last 4 years, fentanyl poisonings are now the #1 leading cause of death between the ages of 16 and 45. There is hard work to be done. This conviction is just the beginning in the war against fentanyl in the United States. But sadly, this fight is not just for me. My son is already gone. This fight is not a me problem, but a we problem. We had talks with our kids about drugs, and yet fentanyl still found our son. It also found Spencer, Zach, Aiden, Cole, Jacob, Jules, Whitney, Dylan, Richie, Haley. It is an endless list of names of our lost children. Cade didn't know about fentanyl. He was deceived as social high school gatherings turned into countless tragedies. The landscape of experimentation has changed since what we knew before 2020. You know about fentanyl because of parents like us. In Placer County, we have assemblies at your schools and educate your kids. Lisa Botwinick of the DA's office would ask the start of our assemblies how many of the students had heard of fentanyl, and only a handful would raise their hand. By the end of their assembly, every student raised their hand. We do this so you don't have to bury your child as I did. We will continue to advocate for our communities through One Pill Can Kill Placer and other platforms. After 3 agonizing years, we are finally able to speak freely today and every day after. I want to thank the Placer County District Attorney's Office, our District Attorney Morgan Geyer, and the dedicated advocates and staff. Our greatest thanks to the Placer County Senior Deputy District Attorney Devin and our vigilant caring detectives who pledged their lives over the last 3 years to bring this case and this defendant to justice. If not for the work this county has done, many more lives would have been lost. Thank you to our family and our community for your outpouring love and support for our son. We will forever be humbled by your love and grace. Through this senseless life sentence, our family will live forever out. It should not have to be served alone. Thank you.
I am Kurt Webb. I am Cade's father. I'd like to thank the press for being here today, and really thank the Morgan Geyer and the district attorney's office, and special thanks to uh, uh, senior deputy district attorney uh, Devin Patel and Detective Craven for all their hard work that they've done. It's been a long journey to get to this day, and they put a lot of hours in. Um, so today was not just a win when we had the guilty verdict for our family. This is a win for the state of California, every community in it, um, every family in it, to win this war against this fentanyl epidemic. Um, this fentanyl crisis is killing our kids and devastating communities across America. Uh, we should be exhausting every resource that we have at our disposal to get illicit fentanyl off the streets and out of our communities by bridging the gap between awareness and action. There is a chemical war happening in America right now, and it needs to be addressed at a bigger level. And today I'm pleading with the new administration that's coming in Congress to deem illicit fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. Um, they've tried to, and it needs to be done. And so my journey from this point on is to get that uh, to happen in Congress, and that will be the key to stopping these dealers that's coming from China, and getting over to Mexico and India and then crossing our borders. But it has to go to a higher level, like the judge was saying in there. It just can't happen in our courtrooms. We have to make new laws and policies to end this epidemic and save families. So you are not standing up here grieving like we are. Our goal now is to prevent this from happening to more families out there. And again, thank you all for being here right now. And we're looking forward to moving forward and healing as a family. Again, it's been a long 3 years. Um, and again, thank you for being here.
Good morning, everybody. Um, my name is Logan. Hello. There we go. I'll start over. Good morning, everybody. Um, my name is Logan Webb. Um, I'm here today to honor my cousin Cade Webb. Cade was like a brother to me, and there's no real way to explain the devastation that a loss of a brother brings. He was one of my biggest fans, and loved coming to my games and supporting me throughout my career. But like many young adults, including myself, Cade has struggled. Cade struggled. Um, we are a tight-knit family, as you can see here today, uh, and we did everything we could to support him every day through his journey. When I received that call on that terrible day, I was actually preparing for the happiest day of my life. I was getting married 2 days later. Um, sorry, but with my family's blessing, I got married. Then a couple days later, I was a pallbearer for my cousin. Our family's joy was pained with deep loss. I was one of the first ones on the scene that night to find my cousin, and I'll tell you that experience. I don't wish that on anybody. Um, as I mentioned, Cade struggled, but he did not want to lose his life. He had a passion for life that we all loved and adored every single day, which is why this conviction is so critical to his case and our family. The reality is, Cade was poisoned and murdered. His struggle was exploited by a dealer who chose profit over people. I cannot thank the Placer County District Attorney's Office enough for their leadership on this issue affecting our communities. Holding dealers accountable for this destruction of our families is critical to fighting this crisis. Our family is forever grateful for the hours poured into this case by the prosecutor, Devin Portillo, and the Placer County Sheriff's Office investigator, Patrick Craven. I look forward to continuing to partner with Placer County to fight against this case, this crisis. I'm deeply humbled to have a platform to share Cade's story at a national level, to help reach our youth on the dangers of fentanyl. Truth is, our kids are struggling, and we need to let them know that it is okay to struggle, but also the dangers that self-medicating can bring. I know that Cade would want his story to help others, and I am honored to take on that mission. I truly encourage everyone to watch the documentary we made with ESPN that tells Cade's story. I think it, should be a bigger story, and I hope this continues to be a bigger story. Every conversation makes a difference, and I thank all of you for attending today. We hope that our family story can help save a life.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Wayne Wu. I'm the Placer County Sheriff. First of all, my condolences to the Webb family. I can't imagine what you're going through. You're feeling a pain that no parent, no family member should ever have to feel. And while the judge and the district attorney today talked about true justice, I hope the accountability and justice that was served today provides one small minor step towards the healing process. Um, I have to give a shout out and thanks to my partner, District Attorney Morgan Geyer, for his collaboration and partnership in addressing this crisis, and once again have to tip the cap to the hard men and women of the Placer County Sheriff's Office, specifically the opioid response team and the work they've done, and the prosecutorial team at the District Attorney's Office to bring justice in this case. Unfortunately, this isn't the first press conference we've had where we've discussed this issue. It's not the first sentencing I've spoke at where I've said, as the Placer County Sheriff, I will use every resource at my disposal to hold those peddling this poison in our community accountable. And that's been a multi-pronged approach, including education. Thank you to a lot of the survivor families that are here today that continue to turn their tragedy into triumph and educate and save lives in our community. But there's also the enforcement arm. Just about a month ago, we had a press release where we sent Placer County Sheriff's detectives out of our community and arrested a drug dealer in the Bay Area that we knew was distributing fentanyl in Placer County. Another example, I hope, that we will extend every resource that we have at our disposal to hold those accountable that choose to peddle this poison in our community. And then this case here with our opioid response team. In these tragic cases, we will again utilize every resource at our disposal to hold you accountable if you choose to peddle poison in our community. So once again, I reiterate that message and hope it gets resonated through the community loud and clear, and we will continue to partner with the district attorney's office and fight this fight. Thank you. With that, I'll turn it over to Assemblyman Joe Patterson.
Great, thank you very much. I too would like to start off giving my condolences to the family, Liz and Kurt and the entire family. I'm, really sorry for your loss, and but I also want to thank you for allowing us to talk about CADE and help bring awareness in the community. Sometimes, as a politician, which I don't like to call myself that, but I will for the sake of argument here. It feels a little disingenuous to come to press conferences when somebody's been through such pain. But as a father, there's my daughter right back there. As a father of four, I realize how important it is to use my platform to educate people about the dangers of fentanyl because my kids depend on it. And so that's why I'm very thankful for the family for what they're doing to educate all of us. And I promise you it's going to save lives. Like Logan, actually, I did lose a cousin to fentanyl as well and understand, the gravity that it pays on the families. And I'm very thankful to the families that I've met over many years of try to battle this epidemic in our state. We've already thanked the great team at the Placer County District Attorney's Office, but can't say it enough how lucky we are to have Morgan Geyer and the team at the District Attorney's Office, and Devin and Craven and all y'all for prosecuting these crimes and seeking justice. And to Sheriff Wu and all the law enforcement partners, thank you very much. Basically, since day one, since I've been a legislator for 2 years now, I've introduced several pieces of legislation on fentanyl. In fact, the first day I was sworn in 2022, I introduced 2 pieces of legislation. And I believe that, sort of like the sheriff was talking about, it's a multi-pronged approach, 3-pronged. Education, which we've had some bills signed into law on education. Treatment, we've had some bills signed into law on treatment. But also there's one aspect that we're missing in California, and that's accountability. Now we're fortunate to have it here in Placer County because we prosecute our law enforcement and district attorney, they prosecute these crimes, but it shouldn't be difficult. Shouldn't be this difficult to prosecute people that are peddling this murderous substance into our communities, but it is. And it's so extreme in Sacramento. I got to go there to work every day, where legislators routinely kill legislation that would educate people who are dealing drugs. Because if they actually knew that it could potentially lead to death, then that dealer might end up with a life sentence in prison. And so they routinely turn down legislation, for example, called Alexandra's Law, which many of you are familiar with, which would save lives, not just because of the accountability, but because of the ability to actually educate the people who are dealing these substances. But the voters just about a month ago got tired of that. And with over 70% of the vote in this state, they put Alexandra's Law in the book. But this problem, unfortunately, is not going to be solved in Sacramento and the capital. And I apologize on behalf of that entire place for not doing everything it can to solve this problem in California. I'll keep trying. And hopefully we don't have to have many more of these press conferences. So the one thing the judge said, he said he wished he could put the family back before these things happen and prevent them. And that's what we're trying to do in Sacramento. At least that's what my office is trying to do in Sacramento. And we'll keep doing that. So we got some things coming up that we'll be releasing pretty soon. So thank you very much. Um, and really appreciate everybody here today. So with that, I'll turn it back over to our esteemed District Attorney, Morgan Geyer.
In closing, I wanted to talk just a little bit about the significance of this verdict today. And I've been asked about it. We've talked a little bit about it. We had to be a little guarded until sentencing. This was the first murder charge for a fentanyl related death in our county. Cade's case was the first. And it illuminated the legal issues, investigative issues, helped us look back at cases that were pending, and gave us perspective. And it set this theory of liability and this course of action on a trajectory across the state. It was one of the first charges filed across the state, and we received in Placer County the first conviction for a fentanyl-related murder by plea, but it hadn't gone to a jury. The community hadn't weighed in directly to say, is this murder? It happened one other time in this state, shortly before this trial, and it happened here for the first time in this region. We had prosecutors, we had investigators from other jurisdictions coming to watch. I've had prosecutors reach out and say, how do you do it? We have sent our opioid investigators and prosecutors to other counties. And as of about 3 weeks ago, I would say this statistic, there have been 4 murder convictions in the state of California for fentanyl-related murders. 3 of them are here in Placer. 1 was in Southern California, and a few weeks ago, there was a 5th by plea north of us. So there have now been 5, and we will see more. The stories of our bereaved parents educate our communities, but they do more than that. They ignite a fire across DA's offices, across the state, and an expectation that this will be handled this way, that these are homicides and they'll be investigated as such. And this verdict by a jury is significant. It is the 2nd time and the 4th across the state, and people are listening and people are watching. That is what Cade is giving us. His story is allowing more lives to be saved as each one of these dealers that come into our counties are held accountable. And that is my final message, is to those who think that it's a good idea to come into Placer County and sell this poison, look behind me. You don't want to mess with these mamas behind me, and you don't want to mess with our men and women in blue and green or in our suits and ties in the courtroom. Because we will find you, we will prosecute you, and we will hold you accountable. And if it's a life sentence, it will be a life sentence. I don't want this job to be about prosecuting more murders. I wait for a day that we walk in and we don't have any more of these stories. But until then, as Sheriff Wu said, we will do everything within our power to stop it so that no more families have to experience this. Once again, I want to give my heartfelt thanks to the Webb family, to the families who have lost children to fentanyl who came out today to support, and all of you for spotlighting this incredible issue. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Again, that will conclude the press conference. You can coordinate individual interviews through me. And with that, thank you, everyone, for participating and everyone who attended.